What's going on, folks? Welcome back to another Ranger Talk video. And today I got a special one here. I'm chatting with none other than the mighty Lastera. What's going on, guys? How you doing? There it is.
uh, Thanks. Going great. Thanks for having us. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just before recording we had a talk about illness, and we're pretty much still alive, even though we shouldn't be, but it shouldn't be.
Only one of us is sick. Guess
I
who?
know. Guess who, right? Leave your comments, your guesses in the comments below. Who's sick?
Subscribe to find out on the next video.
Dude, you need to be my hype man. I gotta hire you,
Always,
man, to like
always.
get me these subscribers and stuff.
The Bald Brothers unite, right? We
That's
have each
right.
other.
That's right. So yeah, I guess first and foremost, would you guys each mind introducing yourself and telling folks your role in the band?
Yes. Well, my name is Emil, or Emil, I don't know, but I play the drums. I write the majority of the music and the orchestral stuff, and yeah, I suppose I start the band as well. That's my function in a nutshell, supposedly. Yeah.
In a nutshell, I did everything.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say, oh, so nothing major. Like you don't do much.
Yeah, I created the power
Nothing major.
manager, and yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm Christopher. Or Christopher. I am the lowly bass player, and I'm also the lyricist of the band. And yeah, that's kind of my role in it, putting
Sweet.
words to the beautiful music that Emil makes.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. So we got the drum and bass here. Like, we can
Yeah, the
Oh,
rhythm
sounds
section.
sounds we're about to have some EDM going on right
I
now.
know.
Hey!
Yeah, man. Yeah, and so it's super cool because Emil, this is my second time chatting with you, which is really awesome. If anyone is unawares, I have a Ranger talk with Lastera. Feels like eons ago now, like 2 years or so, something like that.
That seems about right.
So check that out if you want to hear about the debut album and things like that. And Christopher's very nice chatting with you for the first time. So this is cool.
It's a pleasure.
So now that the debut album is well behind you guys, what was kind of like the reception of that debut album, and kind of how did that maybe fill in the gap a little bit? How did that lead into kind of starting up again with the new songs and things like that?
I think the reception was good. It was all the reviews were positive, and we didn't really get anything distinctly negative. I think the worst we had was eh on some reviews. But I think it was the natural choice to just write more music, and since when we did the debut album, we weren't a functioning band per se. We were like we didn't have a second guitarist, and everything was just kind of put together loosely over a period of time. So I think we wanted to make a record where, as a band, everyone was involved, and we had a new guitarist, and there was a lot of issues resolved before that and stuff. So yeah, just making something new and something better, basically. Yes,
Yeah, that seems about right. It seems
yeah.
pretty much it. The reception of the album, it gave us some great experiences. Like we had the chance to open the first Epic Fest for warming up for Blind Guardian, and also we played for Seventh Wonder, some very nice guys.
Yeah.
When they had Mr. Kordevik still in the band. Those great experiences, and kind of the highlights, I think, relating to the release of From the Ashes.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
before
just
you know it, they'll be opening for you guys, those bands.
One can always dream, man.
I think that
Would
would
be
be
awesome.
more than anything else, but yeah, sure.
Yeah,
But
sure.
I suppose the best thing about releasing From the Ashes was kind of putting that material not to rest, but kind of putting that what do you call it, explanation mark behind it, so we can kind of move on, because we've been working on it for what, 5 years or something?
Wow.
Since 2016, I believe. So we were already sick of it before we even released it. And it had gone through so many iterations and re-recordings, and the mixing process alone took a year. If
Wow.
I'm
That's being generous. That's being
yeah,
generous.
it was a slow process. So we kind of knew what we
Yeah.
didn't want to do and how we could improve the production and effectiveness of the entire thing. Yeah.
So it wasn't like a whole bunch of excitement, like releasing the album. It's just like, all right, let's just get this out of here so we can just move on with our lives.
Well, it was exciting, but yeah, there was an element of it growing a bit stale. So it wasn't as because I suppose 5 of the songs were indeed older than the rest of them. So yeah, we were kind of bored by a lot of the songs at that time.
Yeah, and again, like the re-recordings, and there was a lot of, what do you call it? Yeah, just call it band problems at the time, that made the process even more lengthy and even more arduous, which
Mm.
is, yeah, everything went on for too long, and that's
Yeah.
probably the gist of it. So when we finally got it out, of course, everything is exciting to get out, but it was not that, yeah, this is new music, because it wasn't new to us at the time.
Yeah, wow. Interesting. And that kind of gives perspective, I think, too, into some of the new songs, because it definitely sounds like when you guys hit the scene, what was the first single? Was it Cosmic Tranquility? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that alone, it just came onto the scene, and it almost sounded like a rejuvenation of the band, almost like there was a clear evolution just even from the debut album to that first new single. And is that kind of how it felt as a band, like creating the new singles and stuff, like a new energy behind it? Or
Yes.
how did you adapt to that kind of new, more polished, I would say, sound?
I yeah, I think the main difference was that From the Ashes was more or less a product of songs I wrote and then gave it to the band and were like, fill out the blanks. Whereas the new songs, we all kind of sat in a room, or 2 of us, 3 of us, whatever, and then build out the songs together and kind of made it more organic in that way. And
Mhm.
it 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 wasn't as rushed as well, because even though it took forever doing the first album, it was still pretty much okay. This song is done now. Go record it, please. So we had a better time and more focus, and yeah, just more inputs from everybody, and everybody wanted to do their best. So and yeah, that's clear in the final product, I believe.
Yeah, it's much more of a collaboration this time around. Also, last minute changes was definitely a thing this time. I remember showing up to several recording sessions and being told, "Oh, by the way, we changed this," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's great. You could have told me 2 weeks ago." And then they were like, "No, we didn't know 2 weeks ago. We just changed it." I was like, yes, great being me right now. So
Yeah,
it
that's
was
what you
very
want to hear when you show up to record,
yes,
right?
exactly. That's what you want to hear, right? But it worked out fine and everything. But it was kind of that. Always evolving, always changing, and everybody always having inputs to share. Also, I am the lyricist, but everybody has had like some part in the lyrics. Like the second single we released, Imperial Light, is I think 50 or 60% Emil, because I had a writer's block at the time, so I gotta pull in the other big egg to use some bold brain power and to pull out the big gun. Yeah.
Yeah,
So like
if you
there's
wanted
no
to,
hair to like mess up the connection. So it's just 2 brains
Yeah.
communicating.
Oh, so that's what it is. Yeah.
That's
It's like the
exactly
hair
what it
can't
is.
thrive because the brain power is so strong.
Yeah,
It just
exactly.
destroys the
like,
hair follicles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know exactly what it is. I can
Oh,
see it from here.
absolutely, man. Yeah.
So yeah, everybody joining in. Also remember we're having some like when before the songs were actually done, we were in like our rehearsal room, and somebody just we had a like a folding table put up at the time and a computer, and then just somebody grabbed the guitar and was like, okay, I'm gonna try putting a riff down, and then we just worked from that, which was kind of cool. It was very different from the way we did it before, where like as Emil said, he had a song ready and he was like, okay, go play it. So this time it was like, you know, we have like a baseline, but we are trying to evolve on that and then use it as an actual foundation to like build the entire song from there.
Yeah,
That's
as
really
well.
cool.
Yeah, and when we never rehearsed the old song before recording. So when I did the drums for Ashes, I'd never played the songs together with anyone. So it was kind of a leap of faith, I suppose, that okay, let's hope it works. Whereas with the new one, we actually played the songs together before recording to kind of test out if it did work in practice and not just on a WAV file. And yeah, and I
Right.
think that helped a lot too, just to test it out practically.
Yeah, get that synergy kind of going.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
you can usually hear that in the final product too, and as opposed to it all just being kind of laid down on paper, like you said, but like the
Mm.
band playing it, there's like a different kind of energy there, you
Yeah.
know, when it all works like that. And one thing I want to talk about too is there's some real like kind of like progressive elements in there. There's a lot of intricate stuff throughout these songs. And did the collaborative effort kind of help enhance that a bit? Because like I said, there's so much going on. There's a lot of movement throughout these songs. And I mean, how do you build something like that? This as complex as it is, but still feels like, you know, one song and not like a just a crazy, you know, uh, amalgam of different songs in one.
I think with this one, each song is kind of written by a different member. For example, Displaced by Dark, that's Oliver, the lead singer song. Bloodline is written by Christopher, the guitarist, and Led Astray is basically Lasse, who wrote that one. So I think whoever had a song kind of, what do you call it, anchored their ideas into it, and then the rest of us just kind of followed suit. And I think that helped a lot that there was a unified vision per song. Because with this kind of music, it's easy to uh, what do you call it? Just go all over the place, and finding
Maybe
home at the end of a song can be
yeah,
quite
maybe overdo it without defining what's actually going on.
yeah.
So especially when you try to do some prog stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or not be like we are only gonna do power, or we are only gonna do death metal, or we are only gonna do prog. When you try to combine genres, it often sometimes gets a bit muddy, uh,
Mm-hmm.
unless you're really good at it. So when someone comes in again with a foundation to build off of, then it kind of makes everything go a bit easier from there. Instead of one guy coming in saying, I want to play this, and everybody be like, okay, do you have somewhere to start? And like, no, I just know what I want to do. And it's, yeah, okay, that's gonna be real hard to do, but we'll try. And then you get this muddy. So I was in an old prog band once called Preludium. Before we released anything, I played a demo for my dad. It's way back. It's like 15 years ago, maybe something like that, 12, 15 years. And he described the sound as a sausage of sound because it's just muddy and grainy, and you're having a hard time actually discerning what you are getting. It's just, yeah, this is some
Yeah,
ground up shit that you're stuffing into me. Sorry, can I curse? I don't know.
that's fine,
Is that
man. That's fine.
okay? Great. So yeah, that's and that really stuck with me, like that description. So every time I hear something, like I kind of try to discern what's actually going on. And I think we really managed to like put some character and some defining moments in the definitive sound in each of our singles. But that's just me talking my own music up. You can take that with a grain of salt if you want to, but I'm really proud.
No, no, I agree with you, and that's why I mentioned it is because a lot of times with those prog kind of elements, you can get lost, in a sense, especially when trying to combine it. Like if you're just straight prog, I guess people expect just some wild stuff and they can follow it. I can't personally. I just tap out, you know, if there's not like a clear, coherent sort of like you don't have to have your simple structure. You know, there can be some differences there, but to have a core there where you can keep following as a listener. You know, and I think that's what y'all achieved, and that's what's impressive is there's definitely that prog element, but there's definitely that core song that doesn't get lost, and that goes a long way, you know.
Yeah,
Thank you so
and
much.
yeah, thank you. And also, I think we each of us listen to very different music. I think I'm the only one in the band who hardcore listen to power metal. So it would also be easy for lesser guitarist because he listens to a lot of black metal and stuff like that. And he plays in a black metal band as well, but he understands, and we all understand what music we're doing and what we want to do with it. So there was never an issue of him just turning out black metal riffs, and we were like, no, 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 we don't want that, we don't want that. And that helped a lot, the understanding of what we were trying to do with the material. That was definitely a good thing. So it didn't
Well, yeah,
fall.
he's not just like I just want some really grainy, distorted guitars here, and just you know all that. He knew what he showed up
No,
for.
no,
Yeah,
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 exactly. Also, like we have a sound. uh, if you can still say that we have a sound, but
Yeah.
and you know, real dry, gritty black metal guitars do not go with that sound. But like the riffs, uh, the energy of that, and like the melodic elements of like big black metal. Like I know Dimmu Borgir is not true black metal as such. For all your purists out there, I'm sorry for bringing up those when we're talking about black metal.
fucking
But
poser, man.
I know I'm not a black metal guy, but they have like some really cool elements in like the instrumental section, and they have like a big orchestra and everything with them, and that's combined with black metal. I think everybody who wants like big sound and fast riffs and something melodic and ominous, they can pull from that kind of inspiration. And I think we did that too, especially in things like Displaced by Dark and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
everybody showed their strength when we did this, and it also made it like made us able to tell a story, because when you give each track like its own identity, and then you start to build the lyrics and everything from there, and everything gets its own vibe and its own mood and stuff like that, then you can start to see, okay, maybe we're building something here other than, you know, 5 songs just, you know, apart from each other. So it kind of all you know, it fits together in a way when you listen to the EP from start to finish.
Yeah, and you know, you guys have a real nice kind of distinctive sound, which you know I'm always impressed by when a band comes out and they have a distinctive sound that kind of sets them apart. I feel like that's not easy these days. You know, there's so many bands out there and this and that. And so a lot of times you get very similar sounding things, but for a band to really come out with a distinctive sound, I think that's awesome. And I guess part of that it is because each of you guys has a different kind of expertise, if you will, or a different style of music and this and that, but you're all combining to create this one sound. So that adds like a nice layer. And one thing I want to talk about is the single Bloodline, which was the final single that y'all released. And I have to say, it's awesome. It's awesome. And the heavy riffs, the aggression and all that. And there's that moment there when the vocalist starts doing those real harsh vocals mixed with like the guitar and stuff. I was like, yeah, these dudes could do like melodic death metal also, and it would sound tight. Like I was like in that moment, I was like, man, these guys could really branch out. But like just having that little element in there with the rest, I was like, this is so cool. And the orchestrations and everything. What a song. What a song. How did that song kind of come about? Were you guys just like, okay, we really want a song that just, you know, hits hard and heavy? Because a lot of the other songs are quite grand. This one's really kind of focused.
Yeah, It's our shortest song yet, under 4 minutes, which is not saying much.
Is it 354 or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was just Chris writing a riff when we were just collecting uh, demos and ideas for a new album, and he wrote this riff, the verse and stuff, and I was just like, yes, sir, that works. We want that, and then he wrote out the parts, and we patched it together, and it never called for being like this 6-7 minute long track, so it never made sense to do that. So yeah, that I think that the aggression and the tempo of it, oh sorry, uh, it kind of wrote itself in that regard, and because Chris writes so differently from, let's say, me or Lasse, it was a completely different approach, and that's why it turned out the way it did. And yeah, I think that's one of the favorites among ourselves, right?
Yeah,
Right?
definitely. Yeah, right.
Answer me.
uh, Definitely, but I also think that we had like at one point we had trouble like deciding how grand or how bare bones we wanted it to be, because I distinctly remember at one point advocating for less like violins and less like big things, because it kind of took away from like the rawness of the song. And I did I did that because I did the one thing you're not supposed to do when you're writing music, and that is listen to the demos over and over and over and over again, because you get so used to the sound, and the sound is, yes, I have been told I'm allowed to curse. The sound on demos is shit. So you get used to everything sounding bare bones and the sounding dry and the sounding without anything. So when I heard this thing and that has been like all kinds of strings and everything, I was like, yeah, we have to pull it back a bit. And I really had to fight for that at one point. But I
Yeah,
Wow.
didn't. But I remember in the past being wrong about things, very wrong. So I was also like, this is just me. This is just my opinion. But I really think we should pull this back a bit.
yeah, I think you used the analogy of ordering a steak, which was nice, and then somebody just dumped sauce all over it. And you like sauce,
Exactly.
but not that much. And I was like, yeah, okay, I get that. And yeah, so yeah, there was a lot more orchestration. Just needed to pull it back. So save it for the chorus and all that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of saw the point that yeah, it got a little too, the aggression got lost in all the epicness and all the
Mhm.
eagles flying high bullshit. So it all, yeah, it made sense, and that's a good thing about a collaboration, and
Mhm.
someone can come in and be like, okay, maybe turn it down a bit, because otherwise I maybe wouldn't know, and then we would release a track that could have been better but ultimately wasn't. So thank
Right.
you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
So the orchestrations, does that kind of come at the end? Like, do you wait till the songs are kind of constructed and then you come in and start adding some orchestrations and things like that to, I guess, enhance or change some of the moments?
No, that's kind of being done along guitars and bass and stuff, but I put on the final touches before sending it to the mix. It's
Mhm.
probably the last thing I do. Uh, Also because the songs I write are pretty much always based in some kind of orchestration, choir or horns or whatever. Um, but sometimes it kind of changed directions. For example, Cosmic Tranquility was supposed to be a lot more synth heavy with a lot more like actual keyboards and beep boop bop beep, which it's not orchestral like the others, but it used to be a lot more synth heavy.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's kind of everything else. It kind of forms around the music. And also, if Lasse has been doing a lot of riffs, I take that home and then I smother it in strings and stuff. And then we're like, okay, yeah, now it works. Because it's kind of the blanket that kind of woves everything together. So
Yeah,
yeah.
cool. Christopher, what kind of like stories are being told lyrically through these songs? Are they all connected, or is each one kind of a separate theme? Or
So we kind of like to view it as a story in like 5 parts, one for each song. And I usually when someone asks me what's it about, and I just go really bare bones, it's like, well, it's about a powerful spaceman flying around his ship picking up people, and that's basically what it is. It sounds really, really dumb when you put it like that, but it is Cosmic Tranquility to Bloodline is a story about this enigmatic leader guy, the figure who also is like the guy that was present in Let Us Stray, the AI video we got done for that.
Mhm.
And it's a chronicling of his attempt to save people, and then they worshiping him, him getting corrupted by this worship and all this power. And then when the people turn against him because his ways get more and more like, yeah, I know you already like me, so I'm just gonna force my way through instead of like making you follow me by, you know, your own free will, your own volition. I'm just gonna make you, and that is Led Astray. And then we turn to like Displaced by Dark, where he feels betrayed by his followers, which leads to Bloodline when he uh, discards them, to say it in a PG way, destroys the entire world and throws them into, yeah, basically internal damnation. So it's like it's one big story told in 5 acts. If for any of you who the few of you out there that like reading lyrics, I appreciate it very much. It takes a lot of time, and nobody. This is the worst thing. Being a bassist and being a lyricist is like the two things that people don't know and don't pay any attention to unless it's not there.
Right.
So thank you, the few of you.
That's
Yeah, we can do
hilarious.
whatever, and
I'm
it's
great.
always
I'm
the
great,
best.
by the way. I'm great. I'm having a great
Yeah.
time.
Oh man, no, that sounds like a cool story, and it sounds like a real nice guy too. So
Yeah, a great
that's
guy.
nice. Yeah, great guy.
I love
Um,
so. Yeah. He
so
used to be.
how did well, right, corruption, but how did what made you guys decide to release like an EP as opposed to kind of waiting to release a full length album?
Just cutting down on the time in between releases. I suppose after working on the same shit for 5 years, we wanted to get something done fairly quickly. And also, if you make 5 songs and not 10, they usually turned out better overall. I think there's no room for filler per se when you only have 5 songs. So yeah, it was just kind of okay. We're a proper band now, and we have this creative spark. So let's just go and do something with it. So for the third release, it might be a full album again. So yeah, it's not supposed to be like a B-roll or something quick and easy, but yeah, we just wanted to get something out sooner than later.
I
Yeah,
also know that at least for like for my own personal point of view, there's like maybe some little PTSD from the making of From the Ashes debut album. Everything took such a long time. There were so many problems. Uh, I actually left the band at one point and then came back in, and that all happened during the time that From the Ashes were being made, because it took
oh
such a
wow.
long time. Yeah, it took a long time.
Yeah.
So when we finally got people together and we're like, okay, we're a band now, we're gonna do this. A part of me was like, yeah, we have to push this a little bit. And look what happened. We pushed it, and it still took what, 2 years before it was done and out and everything. So imagine if we were going for a full length album. That what might have been not as great, as Emil says, more attention to detail on the individual track, instead of making fillers for the sake of getting like the playtime up or something. And then it still took a decent amount of time to get out, even though it was just 5 songs.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, you guys even did a video for each song, whether it's like a lyric video or like the AI video, or there was like a live video, I think for Cosmic Tranquility, and then like Bloodline seemed to me like the most like traditional kind of music video. Um, what was it like filming that one? I mean, there's just lights going and you guys, aggressively playing and all that stuff. Was that difficult or fun or?
Yeah, it was fun. It was difficult in the sense that we forgot a lot of cables for our in-ear monitors. So
Oh
me
no.
personally, I couldn't hear shit. So I was just trying to. I had this monitor right next to me, just blasting the track out, making everyone going blind in their ears. I suppose that's called being deaf, right? But I couldn't hear anything. So doing all the fast stuff, I was just like, yeah, sure. That's how that's for editing. But it was fun, and it was also the first time we played in the new outfits uh, and all that. So yeah, it was a great place to do it, and we had a great what do you call it, photographer, videographer,
Yeah.
who did the Trial by Fire music video for us as well. Great guy, Mark. So yeah, it
Hi,
was fun.
Mark.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah. So yeah, I had fun. How about you, Christopher?
Yeah, yes, thank you so much for passing that torch to me, Emil. That's so
No,
nice of
actually,
you.
I'd like to move on here, so I'm just messing with you.
No,
We don't
it
need
was a
that
great
kind of
time. I
talk.
mean, yeah, yeah, I'm just the bassist, man. I'm just Oh, I
Oh,
had a great time. I mean, it looks way better than I actually thought it would when we were on set, if you can call it that. Because it is basically us standing in like a small circle, and then I have some coloring lights shoot directly up into our faces, so not being able to see anything. And then we had some shots where Mark just filmed Emil trying to get some cool things and stuff like that. And we had the part where Lasse and the other guy, the other guitarist, also named Christopher, they play back to back, and we had just pointed the lights inwards instead of outwards. So that's pretty much it. It was just people standing and some colored lights pointing in different directions, and it worked out, if I have to say so myself, very, very well.
Yes. You can get a lot of mileage out of very little in these
Yeah.
kind of things. And also
Also,
Oliver, the singer, he did his shots before we arrived because we were late, obviously.
oh.
Uh, so he did all the shots with his neon face paint and all that,
Mm.
which I didn't see until the video was done. I was like, oh, okay, that's fucking cool.
yeah, he absolutely knocked it out of the park on that one. Great job, Oliver. Great job.
Yes.
No, yeah, the video looked really cool. It lent itself very well to just the sound and the that aggressive kind of aspect. So that was neat. One thing I wanted to talk about too is the production on these five songs sounds incredible. Like it sounds like a big leap from the first album to these songs. It's just the crispness, the overall sound, the grandiosity of it. Nothing gets muddled in there. How did you achieve like that leap and just sound quality?
That can be summarized with two words: Jacob Hansen. That's all that needs to be said. That guy is just the top of the crop when it comes to mixing metal.
He's
Um,
doing a great job.
yeah,
Really, really great.
because the production on our side wasn't that different from previously. I think obviously there was a lot more attention to detail and stuff like that. But yeah, pay whatever money he asked for, and you get a great fucking sounding record.
I
That's
mean,
all there is to say.
guy's a beast when it comes to mixing, most definitely. I mean, he really knocked it out of the park and was like, we have experienced mixing in the past, but I mean, this was just a whole other level also for us, and receiving it was like, yeah, it blew my mind because it sounded so much better than I ever imagined. But
Mm.
also he has worked with the big guys like, what is it, Volbeat and
Amarante,
Pentakill.
Epica.
Yeah, Epica, all the
Wow.
big guys. Yeah, he's in there in the industry. So yeah, when you pay the big bucks and you get the good stuff,
Yeah,
Hopefully,
really.
hopefully,
Yeah,
Which,
know.
but about this whole mixing thing. So there is this other YouTube channel. I don't know. Am I allowed to talk about other YouTube channels on your show? I don't know. There's this
I
guy.
couldn't care less. Hey, maybe it'll come bite
That
me, in the in the
there's
bum
this
later
guy
down.
called Metallian Valador that
Oh
wrote to
yeah,
us. Yeah, you know him? Well, I know
I
of
do
him or something.
actually. I've talked to him. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
he's a great guy, and he asked if he could share a letter straight. Like, of course, go do that. So last time I checked, there were two comments, and the first comment like holy shit, the mix, I said, and then a heart, and then this next comment is great, but the mix needs to work, and I'm like, well, are you sure about
What?
that?
Oh,
I had a good laugh about that. It was like, yeah, I don't know what you want. Then if you don't like the mix in this, that's just, I think it's awesome. I think it
yeah,
blows everything we've made out of the water.
yeah.
no, I
That's
mean, it sounds phenomenal. That was the first thing I think I even mentioned in my reaction to Cosmic Tranquility, the first single I was like, wow, like it's just evident right off the rip. And it's so important because with your guys' sound, there's so much intricacies there. There's so much grandiosity in there. There's so many layers. It really deserves to have a top-notch mix to really get the most out of it. Otherwise, it could fall flat, which is unfortunate,
Exactly.
So
Mhm.
it's crazy how much that a mix and mastering and all that can play into the overall sound. You guys could be the best musicians in the world, but a poor mix makes you sound terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would hate if the majority of the comments were like great music, but the production sucks. I would much rather have people thinking our music is crap, and then at least the basis, the production is there, rather than the other way around. Because I know the feeling of loving a piece of music, but cannot stand the production. That's the worst. Um, and also when you do this kind of music, it has to be polished to death, because if it isn't fine tuned, it just falls flat on its face when it's trying to be so bombastic and epic and
Mhm.
all that crap. So yeah, you just have to spend the money, as it were. Really, yeah. And the great thing about Jacob Hansen, he's done it so many times. So every time you get something mixed, there's always going to be corrections. It's kind of inevitable, but he just got the bass sound right off the bat. Just the guitars, the bass, the drums, the vocals were all there. It was just a question of, well, a little up for this, a little effect there and that. It was just
Mhm.
minor stuff, really. Whereas, again, From the Ashes was a constant, well, we don't like the bass guitar sound. Can we do something completely different distortion wise? Or I don't like the kick drum. I don't like the snare. So
Wow.
yeah, I think from when I sent it to him, they were like, what, a week? And then we have rough mixes. It was just that quick, which
Wow.
was all really,
Yeah.
really refreshing to just get shit done.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like the PTSD we mentioned earlier from being stuck on doing the same thing over and over and over again and not getting anywhere. So yeah, it was smooth and it was awesome. It was very, very nice. And also, yeah, it just worked out great.
Yes.
Sweet. Well, yeah, the final product, it definitely it can be heard without a doubt. So now that the new EP at the time of this Ranger Talk releasing, the EP will have been out. So it's currently out now, folks. But so what do you guys plan on? What's kind of like the release trajectory? What do you guys planning to do for this? Are there shows lined up or, you know,
Yes, we have a few shows planned, but as always, even though there's no COVID this time around, we're always so late to the party in terms of bookings and stuff like that, because we always release our music in the worst times of year when everything is booked fucking beyond everything. So yeah, to work with that. But yeah,
You
we'll
gotta be good at something, and releasing the music at a bad time, it's definitely one of our fortes.
yeah.
We're really good at that.
So yeah,
Cool.
we expect a few some more shows, and I think we're gonna start writing again uh, at the start of next year and see where we
Okay.
want to go from there, because
Just
there's
get the
definitely a consensus of the last three songs on the EP is the direction we want to stick with. So less of the Empyrean Light and more of the Bloodline sound. More aggressive, less power metal, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to put it. But it depends. I think that's what we want to play, but of course we are looking at like what the reception of each song has been. And there has definitely been like a certain, like Cosmic got a lot of attention because it was the first single out. So of course that popped off in some way. But looking at the statistics of the other songs, and it's definitely like Displaced by Dark and Let Us Straight as like popped off in the same kind of way and keeps bringing in the views and the attention and stuff like that. And also when you look at like a few what's it called? Emilie, help me here. Anmeldelser.
Reviews.
Reviews, thank you. Oh yeah, just fell out of my brain right there. The few of the reviews that came in like kind of late, they always focus on like Let Us Straight because that is the song everybody naturally is drawn to, and I get that it has a very very, I want to say unique, but accessible sound. Is there something for the death metal guys, there's something for the melodic guys, there's a little something for the power guys and stuff like that. So it's all about where do we want to take it, and what do people want to hear. And I know you're not supposed to write music for the audience, you're supposed to write music for yourself, but it's just a great coincidence that we like those tracks the best as well. So everybody wins this time around.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think the on the whole, our genre has moved a bit beyond power metal and more into a general melodic symphonic
Theatrical.
Yeah. So it's not so much the anchor isn't so much power anymore. It just needs to be theatrical, cinematic, grand. And if that means it's more blackish or more whatever, that's good, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you break the songs down, a lot of them have like this musical-ish vibe to them, in the way they build, in the way the dynamic flows and stuff like that. And I think when we look at it, it plays especially to our lead singer Oliver's strengths, because he's also a musical actor and is he's regularly out playing musicals. And I think that when we make vocals and we write the lyrics, Oliver usually gets the track and then he puts down like a vocal line, and then we write the lyrics to that, and then changes happen along the way. But compared to From the Ashes, where he was like, yeah, you have to sing up, this high, and you have to be like this and stuff like this. This was much more like him putting his own spin on it, and I think it shows in the vocal lines and the choir and everything like that. Like everything lines up better because people that they're supposed to do this, they get the chance to put their mark on it and not just being so yeah, it smells like musical if you listen to the EP. And that's also like, again, when every song is, when the lyrics of every song is connected, it also makes this coherent story, which is also very musical like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's great.
And also the musical element of things starting off really nice and clear and happy and pretty neat and all that, and then ending in something gnarly and gritty and evil. That was a theme as
Exactly.
well. And we didn't write the songs on purpose like that. It's just fit together in that order. So yeah,
that came about from like writing the songs and then listening to them, so then being like, okay, we actually have like, if we put the songs in the right order, we have like a trajectory, and then we can write from that. Of course, there was some discrepancies about people being like, I think Empyrean Light should be the first song. Like, yeah, I get that, kicking it off with like lots of tempo and everything, but if we kick it off with Cosmic, we have like this kind of slow build up, and then we can build on that, and because it didn't fit anywhere else dynamically. So
Yeah.
the EP took shape like that from when every song was like almost done.
And that was also the idea behind doing Bloodline, the video, the way we did it. So Cosmic is all with audience and we're looking happy, and then Bloodline comes along and we're dirty and angry, and it's kind of like
New outfits and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so two different ends of the spectrum in terms of, because those two songs could be from two different bands, basically. So yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Yeah, so maybe more this entire EP is more like a tech demo of what's to come.
Don't call it a
that.
tech
That's
demo,
tight.
man. You're making us very hard to do a follow-up if this is a tech demo.
Yeah, that's the way it should be, right? Never
Oh, that's
settle.
cool. No, truly. And, it definitely, I think is really neat, giving folks a glimpse of the new era of last
Left there.
era, if you will. Yeah, so not the last era,
Oh my
but the
God,
new
the
era.
wordplay.
Oh, you have to
Whoa.
change. You guys have to change your name to New Era instead of Last Era.
New era, no. Next time we're gonna change it to First Era. Woo!
Oh,
It's gonna be wild.
Our last album is gonna be called Last Era.
Yeah.
Just tie it all
There you
together.
go.
Big
Wow.
Bring it all together.
Awesome. Well, it's super exciting. I think you guys really knocked it out of the park. The new sound, the new overall production, the cohesion there, and the collaborative effort. It really makes a difference. I really hope this kind of puts you guys on the map here, gets folks excited for what's to come. And speaking of which, I mean, the new EP, folks, is out now. So go listen to it, check it out, check out all the singles. Watch the videos. I'm going to put all that stuff in the description down below. A link to all the singles, links to Lastera's social media, all that good stuff. So you can follow them, see what they get up to. So yeah, all in the description below. And yeah, thank you guys so very much for taking the time to chat with me. I appreciate it so much.
An absolute pleasure. Thank you
Likewise.
so much for having us.
Yes. Let's
Sweet.
do this again sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Next
let's do it.
time. Next time.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So yeah, thank you folks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And I'll catch you all next time. Ranger out.